So in the previous videos, we covered frameworks and the SPIN model. And before we go in any further, many of you have asked me a question about video marketing. And I love this topic. I absolutely love this topic. But before I jump into video marketing, I want to share something personal with you. So about 5 years ago, I was really struggling with video marketing. It took all my energy to get up in front of a camera and talk about any kind of concept. I had no idea. I didn't know about the lighting. I didn't know about the composition behind me. I didn't know the background. I didn't know any of that. And what I figured out is that's important, but what is also important is the frameworks that you use, because remember how I mentioned in the previous video about getting in the zone? Well, that's really helped me, and I want to share a story with you. So when I started this, and you could even check out some of my videos when I started it for some of my groups, on my marketing groups on Facebook. And I just thought, okay, well, if I just talk and I talk about a concept, then that's called content. Great, I made some video marketing. But I realized that it didn't really have a cohesive message, it didn't have a cohesive story. So then I realized that every story begins with something of a moment. There's a moment in time that you start with. So in my story, this one, it started about, I would say about 2 years ago, when I realized that this framework that I want to use is I want to tell a story where I give away ideas and value right off the bat. So I'm going to share with you how I get in the zone. So first of all, when I go into it, I write down some ideas. I don't write a script. And the reason why I don't have a script is because it was too rigid. It didn't feel natural. And so that's step one. I would recommend just not having a script. So what would I recommend? Well, I'd recommend the why and the what. So what is the why and the what? The why is, why are you making a video? In the beginning of your video, talk about why you're making it. And what is it you're going to be talking about? That's the why and the what. Then you talk about the situation, task, application, result. So, several years ago, I was struggling with creating video marketing. I couldn't really figure it out. I read the books, I read all the ebooks, I took some courses on it, and it just didn't feel right, it didn't sound right, it didn't look right. And then I realized that I needed to change. So what was the problem that I faced? Well, the problem was either I was too nervous or I couldn't get up and just do it. And so I just thought, well, what does every story have? Well, every story has a hero. Every story has a journey. Every story has some obstacles, and every story has an end to it. So for example, once upon a time, I'll just tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a man who had a trouble making videos. And then one day, he met a fox in the garden. The fox told him, if you get in the zone, you'll be able to make videos. But the hero didn't believe the fox. He didn't know what the in the zone meant. So what did he do? He came back to the fox and said, well, fox, what do you mean by in the zone? Well, the fox said, it's a mindset that allows you to just say the concepts that you wanted to say, and it will just come out naturally. So the hero tried it, and he ran into some problems. He stumbled across the video marketing landscape. And he tried and tried and tried. And then finally one day, it flowed. A beautiful 5-minute video flowed like water. And at the end, he said, now watch the video on day 4. You see what I just did there? I told the story, and then I encompass it. And I'm using the framework, tell him what you're going to tell him what you told him. I told you what the problem was. Then I told you a story, a made-up story. Obviously, it's narrative, it's imaginary, right? But then I told you, and I summed it up of what I just told you. And you could use that in your video marketing, in any concept. Whatever expertise you have, you could still do that as well. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.